So we were here. Work experience. I explained it from the top that there is no need to list each and every job that you have done, whether paid or volunteer. Then we talked about do not just list your duties. You need to sell your skills. You know what are the skills you are good at. Just show them. And then we were here at dates, name of company, position, and skills. You have to provide from what date to what date you were working with that organization, the name of that organization, and at what position you are employed, and what skills you showed over there, what jobs or what activities you performed over there. Like this. This is an example. April 2010 to present, Museum of Kent live. As a shop assistant, I have learned the importance of providing great customer service to gain maximum sales, something like that. I'm not going in the detail because we need to move forward. So these are different sets of skills. What examples can you give from your work experience? These are some examples that you can give from your work experience. If you have a no-paid work experience, for example, you have just graduated, you have no experience where you worked or what you got in return. Give examples from voluntary work or from your course. Maybe during your studies, you performed some projects, you performed some research or something like that. You might have helped your teachers in maybe data handling, analyzing, creating something, PowerPoint presentation or something like that. So these are different skills. You might have done something from them. So you can use any of the skills that you have done. Do remember that do not lie in your CV. Do not lie about your skills, because what skills you present, you are supposed to uh, perform them whenever, if you are hired or if you get the position. So it is necessary that you should not lie about any skills to get the job. These are different action verbs which indicate, which are used to tell about what you have done. If you have done something in the past, you might have created something, you might have instructed some people, you might have analyzed some data, you might have produced some ideas or product, you might have negotiated between two groups. So these are action verbs which are used to indicate what you have performed, what skills you have done in past. So you can choose which are relevant to indicate, to talk about your skills. They can be used because and they are mostly used in the past form, past tense, because they have been done in past. Your interests and activities. Choose interests and activities which can demonstrate skills relevant to the job, such as teamwork. These can be your interests as well as activities. And you have to choose only those which are relevant to the job that you are applying for. If the job demands, if the job wants that the applicant should be a good team work player, a team worker, then you must indicate anything that you have done in your team. You're good at teamwork, or organizing people for an event, organizing any event or anything like that. If you have done something like that, if you have uh, really done this thing, then you are supposed to mention any of these skills. Organizing can be there, commitment can be there, your intellectual abilities, your personality, your artistic ability. Talk about your passion for music and art. If you have passion for music, if you have passion for your art, maybe you are good at acting on stage, you may have performed at university events, you must indicate them. These are healthy activities, they can be mentioned. Presentation of your CV. The first visual impression of your CV is important. As they say, There is a very popular saying, simply, although they say the first impression is lasting, there is another saying about this, that you would never have a second chance for your first impression. If you want to leave your first impression, the best one, you will never get a second chance for that. So you have only one chance for that first impression. That CV is going to leave your first impression on the employer. So the visual impression, how your CV looks, how it is good, or how it is visually uh, better, then it must be very important. Like that, your standard, for standard CVs, use plain white A4 paper. It must be plain, and the size normally most of the time used A4 paper. White color, definitely not the other colorful papers. Do not double side. Do not write on both the sides of the same paper. If your CV is of 2 pages, then it must be 2 separate pages, not something printed on one side and something printed on the back side. Do not do this. Then keep your CV to 2 sides of paper. Means side by side 2 papers, not on the big side or on the front side as well. Check your spellings. This is very much important. Here in Pakistan, we value English a lot, but we make a large number of spelling mistakes, structural mistakes in sentences. So you have to be very careful about your spellings. If you are not confident about the spellings, you can seek help from a senior, from a teacher, from a friend. They can help you. Even these days, we have computers, we have mobile phones, online dictionary. We can use them for correction of the spellings. Use bullet points and bold font, but in moderation. Whatever you are presenting, things must be presented in bullet points. Something is presented in the bold font, something in the normal font. But this again must be in moderation. Not everything in bullets, everything is in bold font. Only the important things in the bold font, only the separate things in the separate bullet points. Then formatting, make sure it is consistent. Whatever formatting you use, it must be consistent. For example, different sections are there. In one section, like academic qualification section, you have 3 parts, maybe BS, bachelor's, intermediate, and matriculation. You design the format of this section very differently from the section of work experience, even the heading work experience, and you design uh, maybe 3 4 different work experiences in a different format. No, you are supposed to be consistent, follow the same pattern that you have used in the previous section. Size of the font, between 10 to 12. 12 is also standard. 10 sometimes when the material is sometimes longer. If it goes beyond 2 pages, then sometimes you downsize the font in order to keep it in the limits of 2 pages, depending on the font style. Even some font styles, even their 10 size is bigger than 12 of another font. So depending on the font style, this size of the font is standard size, not more than this. Clear font, for example, Arial, Calibri, and the new, which one? I forgot the name. Okay, these fonts should be there. These are the clear ones, not the very curvy and very flowery kind of, very maybe looking full of design and something. No, clear font style must be there. Focus on accomplishments. You need to focus. I have got a message, I believe, from someone. Yes, Times New Roman. Thank you, Nimra Beta. Thank you, Ji. I just skipped that name from my mind. Another font style that I was supposed to say, Times New Roman. That is very standard one. Thank you, Nimra Beta. Focus on accomplishments. Keep your focus on your accomplishments, your achievements. You have to present them. Whatever your achievements have been in academics or in your work experience, You might have won some awards, you might have won some badges, you might have won some certificates. You are supposed to mention them. Target your CV to that job, that organization. As we said in the beginning, that your CV must be targeting what is the demand of the organization or what is the requirement of the job. Use short, concise sentences. Most of the time in CV, although longer or complete sentences are not required except from the objective part, you simply present the things in short phrases, not even the complete sentences. So it is better if you want to add a sentence, it must be very precise, not very longer and a detailed one. Consider your audience. Designing CV, you must consider who is going to view it. Definitely the employer, definitely the experts, definitely the people at higher ranks. It happens that those people have to go through hundreds of CVs. So if your CV is, even when they start reading it from the beginning, if the things which are required for the job, they are not presented in the beginning, they might throw it away. So keep your audience in while designing your CV, that what they are looking for, what skills they are looking for, what interests they are looking for, what academic qualifications they are looking for. Just be relevant and pertinent to those. Sometimes some organizations require references. References, what are the references? They want you to provide the names and contact numbers or the email addresses of certain people who know you, who can certify that yes, the person who has sent this CV, he or she certainly has these academic qualifications, or he or she has certainly these work experiences. Mostly, three references are supposed to be provided. Maybe one from the academic sources, any of your professors, any of your teachers, any of your supervisors who know how good you are at academics, or who have taught you, who know you well. And one reference from your work experience, maybe your manager, maybe a colleague. Do not provide any references of the relatives. So if three references are there, maybe one from academic side, two from the work experience, they can be provided. And do not forget to ask for the permission from those people whose references you are giving. Do seek their permission before you provide their names to any organization. Ask permission from your reference and let them know what position or positions you have applied for. Those people must be aware. Your teachers or your supervisors, your managers must be aware that what position you have applied for, and they must give you permission to provide their names, because along with their names you are supposed to provide their contact numbers, maybe, or maybe emails. And sometimes employers contact them in order to know about you. So if they are unaware about this thing, they don't know whether you have given your name, it can create a very unpleasant situation. So be careful about it. Use relevant references if possible. Relevant references in the sense that suppose a job requirement wants you to work as a team player, where you worked as a team player. Maybe you have done the same thing in another organization. I think I'm getting some messages on the WhatsApp. I need to turn off WhatsApp from here on my laptop so that we may not get disturbed. Okay, I'll share again. Okay, I'm back. So only those skills which are focused, which are required, you must provide references accordingly. You can say references available on request. This is a kind of phrase. When you do not provide any reference, you simply write this phrase, because some organizations, if they haven't required any references, you simply write this phrase over there. If they want someone to certify your academic qualifications and your work experience, they can ask it later rather than including contact details. If you wish, it is better if the references are not required, do not provide, simply write this phrase. Okay. Covering letters. What happens, these covering letters, when we say, this is a saying, never send a CV without a covering letter. CV simply is in bullet points, in short phrases, in just titles of your jobs and titles of your degrees, dates and all that, but it doesn't convey what you want to say. So you must send a covering letter, or we simply call it a letter for job application kind of thing. So they must uh, be with the CVs that you are sending. These are there are two types of covering letters. Number one, speculative accompanying letter, and the letter of application. There is some detail about these two types. Speculative accompanying letters, as we discussed in the beginning, sometimes you are applying in an organization considering that there may be a job opening soon there, and you apply in advance so that if there is a job opening, they consider about you. So these are speculative accompanying letters. Should be 3 short paragraphs. These letters should be short, relevant, precise, not more than 3 paragraphs. What should be there in the 3 paragraphs? The opening paragraph must have this information, why you are writing. You are definitely writing to seek a job opportunity over there, and you simply express your idea that you are applying in advance. If there is any job opening in that organization, they may consider you according to your set of skills and academic qualifications. Paragraph 2, it shows knowledge of employer. Highlight your skills. Two things: that you know about that organization. You know about that organization that they prefer people who are hardworking, who have a better academic qualifications, who have a good set of skills. And you, along with that, you highlight your skills in that covering letter, that you also possess those skills, you also possess those qualifications. So these things uh, uh, indicate that you are a potential employee for a job opening that might soon be opening. Paragraph number 3, refer to your CV and availability. In the last and concluding paragraph, you refer to that CV, that you have attached your CV along with this letter, and you can also indicate that how soon you would be available for the job, if any job is created over there, within 3 months, within 6 months, or immediately as soon as they want you. So these things must be there in a covering letter that is speculative or accompanying. And the other part, letter of application, when the organization in their job advertisement want you to write a covering letter, when they want not only your CV but your letter of application as well, then what should be there? This is used when asked to apply in writing and send CV and cover letter, when you are asked for it. So you are responding to their requirement. They have told you to not only send your CV, but along with it, a covering letter, that is job application. Then for it, you use one side of A4. Mostly, this is also one-paged letter of application, similar to UCAC personal statement, that is the university's name, a university. Leave it. Then in this opening paragraph, motivation for the job, you must show your motivation, because you have seen their job advertisement. Now you are motivated to apply for the job because you find yourselves a very appropriate and very suitable candidate for the job, and you would like to work that organization. You are eager to work and provide your skills for that organization. Then Next paragraph, it should be followed by background skills and experience developed through study, work experience, and paid work. Here in the second paragraph, you talk about yourselves, that what academic qualifications you have got, what set of skills you have got, and how much experience you have with your paid work. If you do not have any paid work experience, you can provide your volunteer work experience. You talk about yourself. Then all these things must match with the job description. In the advertisement, they must have described what kind of person would be suitable for the job. So you must indicate or focus to those skills, that experience which is relevant to that job description. What you can offer the employer, and you must in this paragraph talk about what you can offer to the employer. Maybe employer is looking for a very experienced work, or maybe a fresh candidate. You can talk about it, that you are fresh and very much motivated for the job. You have the relevant skills, you have the relevant qualification. So this is what an employer is looking for. We are moving towards, but this was the last. Thank you very much. And now your questions, please. I have got 2 questions, I believe. Sir, is there any heading of covering later, cover letter? Nothing like heading. It simply starts like a letter you must have been practicing at your college or university level. It starts with your address and the address of the person you are writing to, and then simply the subject is application for the name of the job. Got a question from Muhammad Zishan. Is it necessary to mention years of experience and all other related things in cover letter too? Simply you should mention how much experience you have got, but the detail is not given in the cover letter. Simply number of years can be expressed. The detail is in the CV. Another question from Aksha Satta, not getting this line, sell your skill, explain it for once. Yes, beta, sure. Actually, you have the skills. You have the skills and you know about it. If you simply paste your photo on the CV, that photo is not going to earn you a place for the interview. It is your skill set. You have to design them. You have to present them in such a way that those skill sets would earn you that opportunity for a face-to-face interview. This is a kind of saying sell your skills. It is not exactly selling. It is actually talking about showcasing your skills so that they may earn an opportunity for you. I believe I answered. Then we have another question from Hina. Sir, is it necessary to write references? But as I told you, some employers want you to write or present references, but if it is not said, you simply write a phrase that the references would be provided when asked, a simple phrase I discussed in the beginning. Isha has a question, sir, is it necessary to add our pictures in CV or resume? Kindly explain this. Again, I would say pictures are not necessary. If they are not required on your CV, do not place them. If required, then definitely placed. But your photograph, your pictures are not a necessary part of your CV. If you wish to present your professional photo, that's okay, but it is not part of a necessary part of your CV. Any more questions? One more from Nimra. Which format is used in this CV template? Is this chronological type or CV type? I believe Dr. Saab has used the chronological type. I need to look at it again, but I believe it is chronological type. He has indicated work experience with the number of years, and he started with the latest one. Which format is best for freshers?
Sir, can
Just a moment. Yes, please.
Sir, I have a question.
Hamad Ali, just a moment. I have a question from Nimra. Another question. Which format?
Sure.
Sure,
That's for freshers.
sure, sir.
For freshers, as you know, you do not have any job experience, so it is much better you use the skill sets kind of thing. You show your skills, what you have done during your academics, during your university time, during your college time. You must use that format, I believe so. That Hamad, your question please.
Yes, sir. So basically, I'm doing ACCA.
Right.
So we have to register to Oxford Brookes University. So
Mhm.
in Pakistan, we can study from any institute. So like
Mhm.
in our CV, to have to mention each and every institute from where I have taken my classes.
Depends.
Like
If
I can take classes from any institute.
That's okay. That is your option. Whatever option you have used. For example, you were allowed maybe 3, 4, or 5 different institutions, but you got your education from one of them. You would definitely mention that institute.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
I have welcome. I have a question here in chat box. Could you please briefly tell me about the word chronological? Chronological means in the historical manner, or the manner of time. The thing that was done, normally what happens, the years like 2001, 2002, 2003, this is a chronological. So but here in CVs we use the reverse chronological order. The job or the last academic qualification that you have done, suppose it was in 2019 or 2020, you go backwards in historical order. The last job into last qualification in 2020, before that maybe intermediate in 2000 or 2018, and after 2 years before that, 2016, you might have done your matriculation. So this is the chronological order in the years or in history. I hope I answered. Another question is, if format is not mentioned, then should we drop CV or resume for job? Of course, if there is no requirement for the format, so whatever format or whatever resume or CV format you want, you can use that one. What if, another question from Zishan, what if I have no work experience, I need to mention this or not? Definitely you are, this kind of answer I have already done, given Zishan, that the freshers who do not have any experience but work experience, but they might have done something during their university time, maybe some volunteer work, maybe they have assisted a teacher to collect data, maybe they have done a project. You must indicate what skills you use in different activities. They are supposed to be indicated. Thank you, Hina. You are welcome, Hina Beta. Nurul Huda has a question, sir. Can we mention experience which is not gained from any institution, like home tuition, if we are freshers? But it depends. Home tuition is definitely an experience for teaching. If you are applying for a teaching job, then you can mention it. But if you are applying for another job where this doesn't matter, or it matters not at all, it doesn't matter, then you should not uh, apply for this. But if you think there is some relevance, like managing the students, then making them work in groups, supervising them, these things if you have done, you can indicate about that. Must be relevance. Sumera has a question, sir. Is there also a type of CV called functional, or is it just a type of resume? Maybe a functional, I haven't gone through any term like that. There are simply CV and resume, two titles used for almost the same, for the same meaning. But as I told you in the beginning, resume consists of maximum 2 pages. CV can go beyond 2 pages. CV can be a bit longer than resume. Sir, what's the difference between resume and CV? I just told you, resume has to be shorter. Minimum 1 page, maximum 2 pages. CV has minimum 2 pages and it can go beyond that. As I gave you an example of Dr. Said Akhtar Saab's CV, It was of 15 pages. And then Nurunuda, thank you. Okay, beta. Sumera says, okay, sir, thank you. So we have 2.5 minutes more, and this class will automatically end. If you want me to continue, that's okay. I have no problem. But if you want to end it here, I would thank all the participants. They came, they listened, they shared, they asked questions. I'm very thankful to all of you. Zishan, if you like to end it, or
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir. It has been a wonderful experience. मुझे मेरे ख्याल से तो सर सबको ही बहुत ज़्यादा नॉलेज आज मिला होगा और सर बहुत शुक्रिया. May Allah Pak give you the ajr azim for this.
thank you very
सर
much.
मेरे ख्याल से एक क्वेश्चन है, सिर्फ उसे ले लेते हैं.
जी जी.
शायद किसी का कोई पॉइंट
एक
मिस ना हो
क्वेश्चन
जाए.
आया है, एक क्वेश्चन
हाँ जी.
आया है मुझे, एक और क्वेश्चन आया है. सर, ये है निम्रा. Sir, if there is gap in studies, then which format should we use? No problem. If there is a gap, it's not a big deal. You might have done matriculation in 2016. You might have given a gap of 1 or 2 years. You did matriculation in maybe 2020. You simply indicate the dates when you completed that degree. No problem. Hafsa said, thank you, sir. Each and everything. You are welcome, Hafsa beta. So thank you very much, all of you.
थैंक यू टू सर. आपका बहुत शुक्रिया हम सबको इतना ज़्यादा नॉलेज ट्रांसफ़र करने के लिए. और सर मैं सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स का भी शुक्रिया करता हूँ जिन्होंने टाइम निकाला हमारे लिए. एंड आई होप कि सर इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ में आप आगे हमारे साथ और इन्वॉल्व होंगे ताकि हम लोग आपसे भी और कुछ सीख सकें.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all for joining us. Sir, I would like कि अब आप एंड करें.